It's Thursday night in the A. You know what that means. Kelly Price and Tori McElhaney is coming at you on Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
What is going on, Atlanta? Kelly and Tori back with you for a new season, a new time slot, and maybe we're not in the same place. Tori is in South Florida, soaking up some sunshine here before we get into this regular season grind. But girl, it is crazy to think about how different things are since we last did this show in Miami last year.
It's crazy. Everything's new. New quarterback, like you said. I mean, there are so many new things, and yet here I am still sweating so much in Miami.
Some things change and some do not, but the vibes are high. Let's huddle up about it, y'all.
Let's huddle up with Kelly and Tori on the world of Falcons football.
Of course, we start with one of the most dramatic overhauls a quarterback room may have ever seen in a single offseason. I don't have to tell you guys about Atlanta's new QB1, but what I will tell you is that I've seen how much one person has truly transformed the vibe, chemistry, and outlook of this team on both sides of the ball. I keep finding myself using this phrase, the Kirk Cousins effect, and it is real, y'all. Talking to Terry Fontenot about it last week, he used words like elevator, multiplier, and told me how intentional Kirk is as a leader cannot be understated. Not to mention how sharp he's looked on the field so far this training camp, Tori.
Yeah, no, the words elite processor has come up time and time again when you're talking about Kirk Cousins, and we have seen those effects very, very early on in training camp where he is spreading the ball out to multiple receivers, getting the ball accurately into their hands, and that's exactly what you need. That's why you pay him this type of money.
Someone who stands to greatly benefit from Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts, who is fully in his dad era. We absolutely love to see this. But what we've also loved to see from the unicorn in this offense is this season is his personality. Like a lot of guys on this team, it seems like he's kind of being more himself, having more fun, and he's also really looking good in training camp as it progresses. Tori, what have you kind of seen from him in particular?
There is something to be said about how dangerous a healthy Kyle Pitts can be, and he is confident, healthy, and those two things matter in the grand scheme of what this year could be. We're talking about a really big year for Kyle Pitts. There needs to be production there because you're starting to talk about a next contract for him. So when you have these conversations, it's like, what does production look like, and how much can this 2024 season impact how Kyle Pitts moves on beyond these next couple of years? It's a big year for him, and he's looking the part, Kelly.
So true. Confidence in his ability, his health, and what's around him right now. Well, we're keeping an eye on some DB battles. Who will emerge as the corner opposite A.J. Terrell, though it looks like Mike Hughes is the guy there. Richie Grant locking it down at safety this training camp. And, of course, who's going to take down opposing quarterbacks this season? But the Falcons find themselves in an inside linebacker logjam. Is that a good problem to have, Tori?
It's a great problem to have. I mean, you have Nate Landman, who, let's be honest, no one saw coming until last year, and he had to step in for Troy Anderson. Caden Ellis is actually somebody who I've been really interested in this training camp simply because of the ability that he has to rush off the edge and get down there almost like a D lineman, almost like an outside linebacker. And this is something that he has the ability to tap into because this is something that he's done before. That's kind of what his role was in college. It's kind of what his role was with the Saints before he even got to the Falcons. So the fact that Nate Landman's come into his own, Troy Anderson is back healthy, it gives this group, this inside linebacker group, to your point, a really good problem to have where they have three starting caliber inside linebackers that they have to choose from this year.
And we'll touch a little more on the D-line later in the show, so stay tuned for that. But we haven't had pregame tunnel fits yet, but that doesn't mean the guys haven't been saucing it up. We are walking in, presented by Wells Fargo. We got to start here, Tori. Ray McLeod saw Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson walking the runways of Paris during Fashion Week. He said, bet. Of course, you got to wear the beret in France. I don't make the rules. That's just what it is. He didn't stop there, though. The unbuttoned sweater is modern luxury paired with some kind of like retro bell-bottom kind of pants, all in this Trebian baby blue monochromatic moment. I really could not love this more, Tori.
Here's the thing, Kelly. I'm telling everybody right now, Ray McLeod is going to be on this segment almost, I'm going to say it, every single week this year. This guy has outfits upon outfits. Fashion is something that he truly cares about and really wants to lean into, has already leaned into. I know I'm excited for it.
It's going to be hard not to keep him in every week. Next up, we know Kirk Cousins' style is basically Cole's cash dad vibes, but this was an elevated travel look we had here from him. He pulled out for this Miami trip. We've got the khaki adjacent slacks, yes, but the sweater polo shirt, very fashion forward with the sunnies. Tori, I wonder if this was like a legitimate happy accident or if we're going to see some elevated Kirk Cousins fits with the new contract money.
I mean, honestly, I'm okay with that. We talked to Julie Cousins, which I know y'all will see later in the show, but she said fashion's not really his thing, but this is a great look. It's giving Captain Kirk, if you will.
She said, Julie, you need to meet Kirk Cousins. You guys would be great together. And this is my last year at the University of Georgia, and I knew, once she explained it, I knew Kirk was in Michigan, and I thought, oh great, but how would I ever cross paths with him? Sounds like a great idea, but we'll see.
Well, if you watched that quarterback series last season, you know her, you love her, and so do we. You won't want to miss Julie Cousins joining us in the nest later in the show. And parents out there know we are fully in back to school mode here. See how Kyle Pitts helps some local kids get ready for a new year just ahead.
Rise Up Tonight is presented by AT&T and brought to you by Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. By Mercedes-Benz, the best of nothing. And by Home Depot, how doers get more done. Falcons fans, do you ever wonder what's really on your favorite player's mind? It's time for Question of the Week, brought to you by Zaxby's, famous fingers and sauces.
Well, this might be hard for you because you're very recognizable, but what do you say your job is if people don't know who you are, you get in like an Uber or you're talking to a random person, you don't want them to know that you play football? Do you have a line that you tell people?
I tell them I'm a DJ. Ticket sales.
Ticket sales?
Yeah, somebody told me that like a long time ago and I stuck with it.
I'm a personal trainer. I sell life insurance.
Rookie year, I always try to avoid it, but now, honestly, I just own up to it and say I play football.
I always say I'm in sports entertainment.
Is there like follow-up questions? Do people
Yeah, they're always like, oh, so what kind of music? And I just like say like just house.
Like, you sure you play football? I'm like, nah, bro, I'm just tall. You should play football. It's like, I mean, I used to, but not anymore.
Do you ever train Falcons play? Is that like one of your goals? I'm like, I'm working on it. Eventually, I'm gonna get to it.
People buy it.
And one person bought it. One person bought it. One person was like, we actually like had a real conversation about it. But then everybody else was like, yeah, no, you don't.
All right, maybe we'll see Bijan headlining Bonnaroo in the future. All right, many in the NFL soak up those final few days of off-season freedom before training camp kicks off, but Kyle Pitts chose to spend one of his last Sundays off for a while, giving back. As we rise up for Atlanta, brought to you by Truist.
This offseason, the Boys and Girls Club was filled with laughs, football, food, and smiles. Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts held his second annual back-to-school jam, hosting kids from the community for a good time and a memorable experience.
It's a one-time life experience, man. Like, when I walked up to him, like, it was like crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was just hugging on my shoulder, bro. I felt enlightened, you know what I'm saying?
Coming to communities and stuff like that, it's big. Like, and then it just gets your name out there, gets you like, you get seen more and stuff like that. So you have little kids looking up to you and stuff like that.
Along with games, the Pitts Foundation offered free food, haircuts, and school supplies just in time for the new school year.
Well, I once went to one of these, and I once, seen different people, different, celebrities have give back to the community. So, I would want to return the favor. I was in their shoes at one point, and just to see me to have the impact on them is awesome, and I just love to see them smile, and that's the best part of it.
And for kids like Isaiah and Eric who have aspirations to make it to the league, meeting a hero like Kyle only fuels them even more.
If you go to something like this, you don't hear an NFL player telling you that you're going to do good later on in life and stuff like that. So when I heard that, it just made me feel joy, you know what I'm saying?
For Rise Up Tonight, Victor Prieto, Fox 5 Sports.
All right, y'all, we've got a new segment coming at you this season. We're handing out the Dirty Bird chain to an MVP every week this year. Stay tuned for this week's You Like That? And as the Falcons welcome a QB1 this season, they also are welcoming a new first family of Falcons football. Part 1 of Mrs. Julie Cousins in the Nest is next.
Welcome back to Rise Up Tonight. Let's head in the nest with Kelly, Tori, and this week's special guest, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.
We are super stoked about this week's guest, Julie Cousins, wife of Kirk Cousins. I mean, this woman was born at Northside Hospital in Atlanta. She was raised in Alpharetta. I mean, how do you look back at this crazy offseason for you and your family? And did you ever think that this whole football journey would lead you back home?
It's pretty unbelievable, literally. Has not hit me yet. I feel like I'm kind of just visiting right now. I think maybe it will take sitting in the stadium wearing my Falcons gear and watching Kirk on the field for it to really sink in.
Right.
That I'm home, I live here now, and I'm surrounded by my friends and family for my whole life. It's really, really special.
It's funny because, you know, we heard from Kirk the day that he signed talking about Atlanta is home. But the home part of it is actually the extension of you, like what Kelly was talking about. So what is it about Atlanta that makes Atlanta home for you? I know obviously born and raised here, but I don't know, what does Atlanta mean to you? Well, like she said, I was born at Northside Hospital. My parents have lived in their house in Alpharetta since I think 1986. Oh wow.
They will never move. They love it. They have the greatest neighborhood. My brothers are each 5 minutes away. It's just that home feeling is priceless, and I just love going back to their house because it's sentimental, because I was raised there. Now I can just easily go there any day of the week.
Right.
The people here just have a warmth to them, and we moved into our new house recently, and our neighbors are just the most welcoming people I've ever met.
That's
we
awesome.
had welcome baskets galore, and it's not because we are Falcons players. It's because they do that for everybody.
Right.
And just in a really great neighborhood. Our kids have met so many friends already, and Georgia is just really special to my family.
That's incredible. I want to go back to how you and Kirk met, because you guys met at a bowl game where Georgia, where you went, was playing his school, Michigan State. How does one meet the opposing quarterback of the other team as a fan? I want to get into how that actually happened.
It's a long story, Kirk laughs, because I have trouble telling the short version, but basically our moms have the same best friend.
What?
So
that is crazy.
She lived in Kirk's neighborhood when he was young, maybe before he was even born, actually.
Wow.
And then she moved to Atlanta and taught high school with my mom at Milton High School. And so we became friends with her while she was keeping in touch with Kirk's family over the years. And all of a sudden she said, "Julie, you need to meet Kirk Cousins. You guys would be great together." And this is my last year at the University of Georgia, and I knew, once she explained it, I knew Kirk was in Michigan, and I thought, oh great, but how would I ever cross paths with him? Sounds like a great idea, but we'll see. And a few months later, Georgia and Michigan State were matched up in a bowl game in Tampa, Florida, where you said you're from. And I was going to go to the game anyways, and so the matchmaker made her way down there, and she said, how about we just introduce you after the game? And that's what happened. I just said, hi, I'm Julie, and I know Becky, and that was really it. We just said hi, and a few months later he called me and asked me on a date. But I just believe that we were meant to be.
We've heard from Kirk about how he's literally sat on your parents' couch watching Falcons and other games with your family, and how wild is it to think that now your husband is going to be helping those teams that your family loves so much.
Like I said, it just really has not sunken in. On the way down, I think maybe I started to think, wow, I'm going to have almost 100 people interested in going to the games, probably. How are we going to handle this? And I started reaching out to my relatives just to say, do you think you would want to go to almost every game? Because maybe we should all get season tickets. And I started brainstorming, and almost every single one of my aunts and uncles and my cousins and my brothers, they all said yes.
That's awesome.
And that shows you how excited they are to get behind it, to get behind the team. And we support all the teams, so you know, sports are always on our TV.
It's so funny you talk about your extended family, like 50 members of the extended family having season tickets. Does that honestly make it easier for you to not have to worry about people calling day up, being like, hey Julie, can you get me some tickets?
Yes, I love to plan and organize, so that has always been fun for me over the years. Who's coming to the game, and you know, how are we going trying to figure out the ticket situation and how they're getting to the game.
Yeah.
And when are we going to see them? That part is really fun. And I was feeling overwhelmed that it's so many people. How can we make this work? And so as crazy as it sounds, yes, I think we have 48 season tickets amongst all of us. And we're able to be near each other. And my dad, I think it was my dad, was joking, like, let's call it Cousins Corner. So hopefully,
that's so cute.
Hopefully it's okay and we are under the radar a little bit. They wanted to do matching t-shirts.
Not under the radar at all.
We'll see. I said, we'll see.
What's the reception been like for you guys when you go out to eat or go to the grocery store or anything like that? Like, are people recognizing you guys and Kirk?
It is noticeably just incredibly warm. Almost everywhere we go, we encounter somebody welcoming us. And just so happy we're here and telling us they're diehard Falcons fans and trying to plug us in. And honestly, now that we're kind of in my home area, we're running into people I know from my childhood or they know my relatives, and it's just really fun.
Yeah. And that leads me to my next question. After the quarterback series that I'm sure so many fans before you guys even came here, Falcons fans recognized you from, how has that kind of changed your life? And people seeing you from that and being like, oh, I loved you guys' story on that show.
Well, I really like to be behind the scenes. So I'm trying to work on doing things like this where I'm out of my comfort zone. And so when Kirk said, you know, we're going to film the show, I thought, great, you go for it.
Have fun.
And then I wouldn't know when they were showing up sometimes. And I would just say, you know what, I just have to be myself.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my pajamas right now in my backyard. There's nothing I can do. This is me. Come on in. And I think people appreciated that. I heard from a lot of people that said that they just really appreciated how normal we are. And I think that show captured it. And I wasn't trying to do anything, but just I'm doing the best I can just to raise my kids and help Kirk. But I was just like, I don't have the capacity to try to even worry about doing this show. So I just tried to relax and be myself like I'm doing today. And I think people really appreciated that. And now when we went to the premiere in Los Angeles, they said to me, you watch, now people are going to stop you. And I laughed. No, they're not. But they are.
Oh my God.
They are. And it's sweet. I'll be at the sporting goods store and they'll say, we love your family. And you're like, who are you? And I'm not even with Kirk. It's just me. And I just really appreciate the support people have kind of jumped on now that they've seen more into our home and our family life and how we do things. I think some people have become fans, which is nice.
Hey Atlanta, this is Head Crack talking, and you watching Rise Up Tonight, presented by AT&T.
Content all day. Big Kirko wakes up dripping like this. Kirk Cousins with the chain. Oh yeah! I love it. I love it. I love it. Want to see me jog? You want to see me jog? Here we go. I'm jogging. You like that? You like that?
We love our content king, Kirk Cousins. And as he said, you gotta earn the right to the drip. But we can have a little fun with it until he gets a chance to win some games here in the A for the Falcons. All season long, we're gonna award this awesome Dirty Bird chain to this week's most valuable Falcon. So Tori, who we got this week from joint practices in the 305?
So it's not just one person, it's an entire group. I'm talking this defensive line. Ever since the pads have come on, they have brought the intensity. They've been extremely physical, and I've thoroughly enjoyed watching this rotation. I mean, let's be honest, during joint practices this week, they didn't make it easy on Tua in the pocket at all.
I would love to see Grady Jarrett, Rukaroro, all those guys getting the Dirty Bird chain on. All right, Tori, well, we've got this preseason game on tap tomorrow, Dolphins versus Falcons, the opener for both teams. Which Falcons players are you kind of keeping an eye on here?
I feel like I gotta say the rookies. I gotta say this draft class. Michael Penix Jr., Rukaroro, Braylon Trice, Casey Washington. This is the first opportunity that we have to see all of these guys truly dressed out, going 110% for the Falcons. I think fans should be really excited to see what they got this Friday.
Lots of excitement around the Dirty Birds this season. It's going to be an awesome preseason, and we'll see what happens as we get just a little bit closer here to the regular season. Well, thank you guys for staying up real late with us tonight in this new time slot, Thursdays at midnight going forward. Keep it on your calendar. For Tori McElhaney, I'm Kelly Price. Have a great night.